Hey everybody, video here for you. Now I'm not sure when I'm going to upload this. I'm working on a couple videos, a long video that I had promised. Not sure if this video or that video will get uploaded first, but it's time for an ancient history news video. First off, we are going down to a tiny village in Mongolia here. Don't talk a lot about Mongolia. This is Ultseat right down here. You see here, this is a very small village, central Mongolia, right down here. But I just want to throw this out here. Not quite sure what this is. Maybe somebody can give me their best guess. Doesn't seem to be too far away from the edge of the city, but this is kind of puzzling to me. What do you think this is right down here? It's like I'm not sure what that is, but here's a city right here. It's not too far away, less than a mile. Give me your thoughts on that. See anything like that before? I'm just blank on what that is right there. Here is a story that just came out yesterday. I'm starting to record this on Sunday. It says archaeologists discover capital of Xiongnu Empire in central Mongolia. Not sure if I said that right, but here is just one of many artifacts that are found at the site. And this kind of relates to a video I did over a year ago. Here it says the front decoration of the roof of Dragon City's building with the inscription of ancient Chinese characters, Son of Heaven, Chan Yu. Says this is the first time that a real object with the inscription Son of Heaven, Chan Yu has been found in the territory of Mongolia. Dragon City or Longchen City, capital of the Xiongnu Empire, has been discovered in central Mongolia, a Mongolian archaeologist said Saturday. Here's just one of the artifacts that was found here. I'm not sure where this find was made, somewhere right down in this area. A little frustrated I could not find it, but here's a pic. This got going about maybe the 3rd century BC. Dragon City here. But this site was kind of lost to history. There was stuff written about it, but they really weren't sure where it was exactly till just lately. Here's a Twitter post. It says the team translates the characters as the Shan Yu is the son of heaven. Shan Yu or Chan Yu was the title of the supreme ruler of the Xiongnu Kunu Empire from 209 BC to 91 of the current era, the first great empire of Eurasian nomads in recorded history. And I guess they made incursions into the main area of China, and it was one of the main reasons that the Great Wall of China was started. Next story, let's go down to Egypt. I want to thank the people. A lot of people sent me this story on the Hyksos and that they weren't invaders, but if you watch my channel, you have heard that for about 4 or 5 years now. But this story caught my eye. Let's go talk about this. This is Deir el-Bahari right down here. This is the area we are talking about. Here is the Valley of the Kings. Deir el-Bahari is right down here. That is where the Temple of Hatshepsut is, right down here. There's also some other tombs down in this area, right down here. Let's just read. I will leave all these links below. Here it says CT scan reveals the story of the mummy of the Screaming Woman, a royal burial at Deir el-Bahari. It says the Egyptian princess died of a heart attack 3,000 years ago, the scan reveals. Our favorite Egyptologist is mentioned in this article. It says a study carried out by renowned Egyptologists Zahi Hawass and Sahar Salim, professor of radiology at Cairo University, who specializes in scanning mummies, has solved the mystery of the mummy of the Screaming Woman. It says Hawass told Aram Online that the CT study and analysis conducted on the mummy revealed that the severe atherosclerosis of the coronary arteries had led to sudden death of the Egyptian princess from a heart attack. He said that the ancient Egyptian embalming process had preserved the posture of the princess at the moment of death. Hawass explains that the story began in 1881 when this discovery was made at Deir el-Bahari near Luxor. The site is where priests of the 21st and 22nd dynasties hid royal members from previous dynasties to protect them from grave robbers. And I've talked about grave robbing in Egypt. Seems it's been going on all the way through dynastic Egyptian history and into current history. This burial site also contained the mummy of the Screaming Man. He was identified as Pentawara, son of King Ramses III, who was forced to commit suicide by hanging as a punishment for the involvement in the killing of his father in what was known as the Harem Conspiracy. The son was punished by not being embalmed. His fate was to be punished in the afterlife. Other mummies were wrapped in white linen and carefully mummified. But this here, the mummy of the screaming woman, seems she had a heart attack and then probably wasn't found for a few hours. Rigor mortis set in, and that's why she was mummified in this posture and that expression on her face. Let's move on. Next story, let's go down to Turkey here. This is kind of an update on a video I did about 4 months ago. This is Hasankeyf down here. When I did my last video, this place was above water. Today, well, not so much. Here's a video I did in February. Turkish citizens say goodbye to 12,000-year-old city. This was kind of a depressing video to do. Well, let's get an update on this. Here's a story that just came out. It says, watch the ancient town of Hasankeyf disappear in dam reservoir. They have a video attached here. 12,000-year-old Turkish town disappearing before our very eyes. It says Hasankeyf is almost completely submerged in water. That's the way it sure looks. People here were told they were going to have some new homes at a higher elevation, and they just aren't happy about losing all this ancient history. Here's a look at the way the place used to look. Back then, residents were already concerned by the conclusion of the dam project. Here, gentleman's talking about it, but I will leave this link below. But today, this town is lost to history. Next story, why don't we go down to Iceland? This place is called Staðarfjörður. I don't know if I got that right, but it's right down here. We've got a couple images on Google Earth here, but this is obviously a very, very beautiful part of the world. But the Vikings are the subject of this video. And right down here, I believe there were some findings made that kind of pushed back the Viking settlement in this area quite a few decades. This is Live Science. It says, oldest Viking settlement, possibly unearthed in Iceland. It dates back decades before Vikings are supposed to have settled the island here. Here's one of the places they unearthed. It says the oldest of two Viking longhouses at Stad dates from around 800 AD, several decades before the commonly accepted date of the settlement of Iceland in AD 874. Here's an area on the island where they were excavating. It says the youngest of the two longhouses contain the most valuable Viking artifacts ever found in Iceland, most likely the home of a chieftain here. These longhouses were covered with thatch and turf, 250 feet long or 75 meters long. It says they were used as communal habitations throughout the Norse lands during the Viking Age. They were divided into rooms and could be shared by several families. Fires were built in stone hearths along the center, and farm animals could be stabled there to protect them from the cold. That is a look down in the ground, maybe a few feet. Viking settlement going back maybe 1,200 years. Here are some of the artifacts found here. It says Roman and Middle Eastern coins were found, silver, glass beads, other things. It says hidden beneath the treasure-filled longhouse was an even older structure. Chemical and other analysis suggested this buried longhouse was built in the 800s, long before the permanent settlement of Iceland. Here's a look at a couple other artifacts found here. Seems like the more we dig, the more we learn, and that's all around the world. Ancient settlements, many different time periods. Let's move on. Final story, why don't we go down to San Diego, California? This story just popped. Goes along with some megafauna talks I've done recently. Here's a story that just came out from the San Diego Union Tribune. Freeway project unearths a time when camels roam San Diego. It says paleontologists will tell you that field work is a lot like fishing. Nothing happens for long periods of time, but you can't catch anything if you don't have your line in the water. In San Diego, they have had their line in the water again at a freeway construction project in Norte Mesa. Paleontologists have found fossils that may open up a window into what this part of the world looked like about 15 million years ago. It was a place where early camels roamed and prehistoric hoofed animals, and probably a carnivore or two, and where volcanoes erupted. The find suggests that we have a whole new chapter to our history that we get to explore, said Thomas Demir, curator of paleontology at San Diego Natural History Museum and director of the Paleo Services team. which located the fossils while monitoring the freeway project. The discovery in June joins a roster of significant unearthings during construction projects in San Diego County: Macedon, dire wolves, sea cows, giant sloths, armored dinosaurs that are painting a fuller picture of the region and how it changed over time. So that is a pretty interesting story. Just came out. But these megafauna lived up until about 12,000 years ago. Interesting find coming from California, but those are 5 ancient history news stories. That story I uploaded a little earlier today. I was going to include in this video, but I want to do an individual video on that. A lot more talking than I expected, but hope you thought that was interesting. You all have a very safe day.